I come from Zambia, and in northern Zambia, the destructive process of slash and burn agriculture is still being practiced, as it is in many other parts of the world. Many years ago, I tried to introduce biochar technology in order to counter the adverse effects of this practice. However, biochar technology had not really caught on. So it was so difficult, next to impossible, to raise any funds for such a project. However, now that the IPCC has adopted biochar technology, which is now called pyrogenic carbon capture and storage, it might just be possible to raise good funds, really, for such a project in the foreseeable future. Vienna, Austria. This is where the United Nations Industrial Development Organization has its headquarters. This is the institution that I worked for the longest during my UN career. This is where I oversaw the implementation of projects such as the one I mentioned in Vietnam and the other one in India. I had a one-year stint with United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, which has its headquarters in Bonn, Germany. I was then manager of the emissions trading sub-program, which was under the auspices of the Kyoto Protocol. I then moved on to the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, which happens to be located in the same building. I stayed there for a 6-year period, during which I was consultant for the projects I mentioned before in Argentina and China. I attended the 13th Conference of the Parties of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change that was held in Bali, Indonesia. This was really a high point on my career, as I held a very crucial side event during that conference to try and introduce biochar technology into the climate change negotiation process. It was really an uphill battle then, as biochar technology had not yet caught on. However, now I'm really glad to note that as of 2018, the IPCC has taken on board biochar technology, now called pyrogenic carbon capture and storage, as a promising new negative emissions technology. Many years ago, I traveled to Morocco on a United Nations mission to Rabat, the capital. On the first occasion, I took a day trip to Casablanca just to go visit the famous landmarks that appeared in a movie classic called Casablanca. You remember? Humphrey Bogart, Ingrid Bergman? That was my interest then. However, if I were to go to Morocco now, I would be far much more interested in visiting a hardly known town in the desert called Ouarzazate. This is where the world's biggest concentrated solar energy farm is located. This farm produces 580 megawatts at peak. I was once in Warsaw, Poland, on a project evaluation mission. During discussions with my hosts, they realized that not only was I a hobby pianist, but that my favorite piano music composer is Chopin. My hosts quickly arranged a special trip to west of Warsaw, Żelazowa Wola, where Chopin was born. We took a trip there, and I thoroughly enjoyed the visit. Apart from viewing the artifacts associated with Chopin's birth, I also attended a concert along with other Chopin enthusiasts. It was sad to see the city of Cape Town, South Africa, almost grind to a halt due to the really crippling water shortages of a couple of years ago. This left many, including myself, wondering at what point would seawater desalination for the city of Cape Town become imperative. Some really ambitious people even toyed with the idea of breaking off icebergs from Antarctica and towing the icebergs across for drinking water in Cape Town. I hope that if this ever came to pass, that the people involved would have looked at how this might affect marine life. Over many years, I used to spend Christmas celebrations with my in-laws in Finland. One fine Christmas season, my wife and I took one of our daughters to visit Santa Village, which is located right on the Arctic Circle. Little did we know what was in store for us. Of course, the girl got some hugs and some goodies from the real Santa, but then we did some dog sledding, which is an activity I had only read about in novels until then. But the real high point for me was driving the snowmobiles. We went to the snowmobile park place. There were several other couples there, and we were all made to stand alongside a snowmobile. Ours was the front one and had a sledge hooked onto it so that our daughter could sit in it. And then we waited for a few minutes. Then came a guy on a snowmobile, swung around, even splashing a little bit of snow. Then he stops alongside us and says, "Hello, my name is Yuka. I will show you a couple of things. Number one, on the snowmobile, this is the accelerator, and this is the brake. Point number two, the brake is more important than the accelerator. Okay, get on. Let's go." And initially we thought he was joking, but the guy set off. And I quickly realized that being the front one, I had to do something. So we started off. And, 500 meters later, I got the hang of it. I learned how to take the ditches gently and then accelerate smoothly over the brow of the hill. And after a couple of hours, I just didn't want to stop. But then we had, of course, to come back. It was such an exhilarating experience. Such was the exciting trip we had to Santa Village, which is right on the Arctic Circle, just outside Rovaniemi in northern Finland. In the next video, I will take you back to Vietnam for astounding accounts of the Ho Chi Minh Trail.